For example, if you are considering is water colorless? Okay, the question is water colorless? Either yes or no only. The solution, the answer is either yes or no. Okay, no other options are available in this case. Okay, yes or no only will be your answer. So in the classical set theory, we will be mostly using Boolean logic. Okay, Boolean logic in the sense we are using only zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. Apart from this, in the fuzzy logic, we will be using fuzzy theory. Okay, fuzzy theory where you will be able to mention the nature of solution. Okay, is RAM honest? You can answer in your classical theory as well as in your theory also as is RAM honest, yes or no? Okay, as well as you can answer in fuzzy as extremely honest, very honest, honest at times, extremely dishonest. Okay, in between yes or no, we are able to define various set of expressions. Okay, so in the fuzzy theory, we can go for expression. Okay, different sets of expressions. Suppose if you are considering crisp set and fuzzy set. In crisp set, we will be utilizing the classical theory, classical logic or Boolean logic, making use of either zeros or ones only. Okay. In fuzzy logic, fuzzy set theory, we will be utilizing fuzzy logic. So in last class, we have already started with the classical theory. Some of the properties also we have discussed. Hope you understood this. Crisp versus fuzzy. Okay, crisp means we can define your classical set theory as a crisp set. Okay, you can also call your classical set theory as a crisp set. Okay, so we will be learning about fuzzy in detail in our coming classes. So in the classical set theory, some of the properties. Okay, how your classical sets are defined. A classical set is unordered collection of different elements. We have learned these things in last class. I am repeating. Meanwhile, your friends are joining. Okay, so you can write a set of all positive integers or a set of all planets in the solar system, a set of all states in India, a set of all vowels in alphabets, all vowels in alphabets, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, like that, a set of unordered collection of different elements will give you the set. So some of the representations of this set. So for example, set of vowels in English alphabets. English alphabet set of vowels, set of odd numbers less than 10. So how in the notation form. Usually we are specifying, the set is defined by specifying a property that elements of set have in common. Okay, you are able to express in this form: curly brackets, A is equal to curly brackets x colon P of x. That indicates x belongs to having same property. See, here you have seen, in the previous example you have seen, these are first set ovals, they have common nature. Okay, we are using an in front of all the ovals: an aeroplane, an elephant, an ink bottle, an orphan, an umbrella. Like that we are having common property. The entire set has common properties. Similarly, odd numbers not divisible by, please someone mute yourself. Odd numbers which are not divisible by 2. Okay, like that x is a vowel in English alphabet. You are writing not not divisible by 2, the other expression also. So element x is a member of set S. It is denoted by x belongs to S. If an element y is not a member of S, it is indicated by y does not belong to S. You need to remember these things. Okay. Cardinality of a set. That means the number of elements of set is denoted by modulus of that particular set. A. If you want to indicate number of components in A, number of components in A set. Earlier, A set we have taken A, E, I, O, U, vowels in alphabet. Okay. So, how many, what is the cardinality of set A? 5. Similarly, the number of odd numbers below 10, they are also probably 5. Okay. So, if there are two sets x and y, if they are represented like this, x, cardinality of x is equal to cardinality of y, denotes having equal number of elements in each set. Okay, the numbers may not be equal. Here the number of elements in exactly in x are equal to number of elements in y, but they need not be same. The elements need not be same, the number is same. Okay, so such a sets are known as bijective function f from x to y. So here if we are considering the next case, cardinality of x less than or equal to cardinality of y, denotes that set x cardinality is less than set x cardinality is less than or equal to y cardinality. It occurs, when does it occur? When x is, elements in x is less than or equal to that of y. So in such case there exists an injective function f from x to y. So next one, set x cardinality is less than set y's cardinality. It occurs when the elements of x is less than that of y. So here the function f from x to y is injective function, not bijective function. When they are equal, we define that function as a bijective function. Okay. When they are less than or equivalent, when cardinality of x is less than or equivalent to cardinality of y, we define there exists injective function. Only less than means the function is injective but not bijective. Okay. So the sets are commonly referred as equivalent sets. Here the sets x and y are commonly referred as equivalent sets. Okay. So types of sets: finite set, infinite set. Already we have learned all these things: empty set, singleton set, equal set, equivalent set. See, here I want to stress out that singleton set is which contains only one set, which contains only one element in your set, only one element in your set. A singleton set is denoted by curly brackets s, or you can write, suppose if you are considering set of 8, which can be written as x belongs to n, that is natural numbers, 7 less than x less than 9. So definitely it will have only one set. Next, equal set. If two sets contain same elements, they are called equal sets. Okay. Equivalent set is different from equal set. Here you need to note the point that equal sets have same elements in the sets. Here if you are considering A has 1 to 6, 1 to 6. Okay, B has 6, 1, 2. Though the order of elements is changing, but elements are also same in both the sets. Here there is no importance for order of sets. While considering your cross product or Cartesian product, then you need to stress out the importance of order of elements. Okay, in order to define equal set, two sets contain same elements, they are said to be equal. Okay. Similarly, equivalent set. If cardinality of two sets are same, they are called equivalent sets. For example, A is equal to 1 to 6, B is equal to 16, 17, 22. So the number of elements in B is equal to 3, number of elements in A is equal to 3. So they are called as equivalent sets. That is indicating cardinality of A is equal to cardinality of B. Okay. Hope you understood the difference between equal set and equivalent set. Okay. Next, overlapping set. Two sets that have at least one common element are called overlapping sets. So in this case already you might have learned these expressions. Okay. A union B, number of n of A union B can be written as n of A, number of elements of A, plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. These symbols, U is indicating union, inverted U is indicating intersection. Okay. So likewise, if you are able to express these things, so let A is equal to 1 to 6, B is equal to 6, 12, 42. There is a common element in between A and B. A and B. So that element is your 6 element. Okay, here common element between A and B sets is 6. So hence these sets are called overlapping sets. So disjoint sets, if they does not have single element also in common, such sets are known as disjoint sets. So therefore these disjoint sets have following property, that A intersection B is equal to null. This 5 value is indicating null value. Okay. So if A, same example you are considering, A is equal to 1 to 6, B is equal to 7, 9, 14. There is not a single common element. No single common element between the two sets. So these sets are called disjoint sets, not overlapping sets. It is disjoint set. Okay. Next, some of the operations on classical sets. Some of the operations on classical sets which I have already repeated in last class. I want you people to note down in book and practice these things. Okay. More examples I'll give it to you. Please work out in book so that you can learn thoroughly. So first property of classical set or crisp sets is union. The union of sets A and B. Usually you are denoting it as A union B. Here the simplified form of union property will be having elements of both the sets. Okay, here you can observe in this expression. In this expression, you can observe that A union B is equal to X. X belongs to A or X belongs to B. Either or. Okay. So in an example you can see A has only 4 elements 10, 11, 12, 13. B has 13, 14, 15. So there is common element between A and B, 13 element. So union property will be having all the elements in A and B. If there are any common elements, those common elements will be written only once. Okay. So physically in the pictorial form you are representing in this fashion. A union B. Intersection of sets A and B. Here intersection of sets A and B is denoted by A intersection B. Just opposite of your union property. Sorry, union operation. Okay, here in the intersection of sets A and B, you will consider common elements, set of elements which are present in both A and B will be present in the output of your A intersection B. Okay, clear. Hope it is clear. So if you are considering same example, A has 11, 12, 13. B has 13, 14, 15. So A intersection B, you will have 13. So this part here in the intersection you will be considering only this part. In the union you will be considering entire. Okay, next property, difference and relative complement. The set difference of sets A and B is denoted by A minus B. Sorry. In this, the set of elements which are only in A but not in B. Okay, A minus B. So same example if you are considering. A is 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, A is 10, 11, 12, 13. B is 13, 14, 15. So A minus B. So whatever common element is there between A and B, you are removing that element and mentioning only remaining elements of first set, whatever set you are considering. So here you can observe in set A you have 10, 11, 12 and 13. Okay, 13 is also present in B. So you are removing 13 and writing only the remaining elements in A. Okay, similarly if you are considering B minus A, B minus A. So in that case you are considering B, whatever elements are there in B, 13, 14, 15 minus 10, 11, 12, 13. So you are removing common elements between A and B. Common element between A and B is 13 and writing remaining elements of first set, whichever set you are considering, you are writing that set elements only. So removing 13, you have remaining elements in set B are 14, 15. Okay, physical representation will be like this. See, in the first case, A minus B, you are excluding common element between A and B, removing common element between A and B and writing remaining terms present only in A. Okay, similarly in B minus A. So in B minus A, you will remove common element between A and B and write remaining elements of B only. Remaining elements of B only. Next property is, next operation is complement of a set. The complement of a set A is set of elements which are not in set A. Which are not in set A. So you can write down in this form. X does not belong to A. So here A complement, A single quote is written, complement is written as A single quote, U minus A, where U is universal set which contains all the objects. Suppose if you are considering A is set of vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, we are considering A set of vowels. Its complement will be remaining all the alphabets excluding A, E, I, O, U. Okay, clear? Yes. Suppose if you are writing your earlier you have considered, okay, A is set of vowels in alphabets A, E, I, O, U. Please note down. Okay, its complement. Its complement. A complement is written as A dash single quote is equal to set of all the other alphabets excluding your vowels. Okay, that is your complement of a set. Next, Cartesian product, cross product. Here, the Cartesian product of n number of sets is denoted as A1 cross A2 cross AN with all possible ordered pairs. Okay, here two sets if we are considered A1, A and B. A is equal to A comma B. B is equal to 1 comma 2. So in the Cartesian product or cross product, we are considering all possible ordered pairs. So if you are considering here, A is equal to A, set A is equal to AB. So you are multiplying A with 1 and A with 2. Then B with 1 and B with 2. Possible combinations. Okay. Similarly, if you are writing, if you want to write in the Cartesian product of B and A, just the order of elements are changing. You need to consider 1 into A, 1 into B, and 2 into A, 2 into B. Okay, observe the order of elements. Next, some of the properties of classical sets. So, some of the properties of classical sets. Here, in previous class, we have learned some of the operations, and next coming to some properties to obtain the solution for different properties of classical sets. Commutative property. So these all things already you might have learned in your mathematics. Just review. Okay, if you are having two sets, the property states that A union B is equal to B union A. Commutative property. It is true that both has same solution, A intersection B as well as B intersection A. So associative property. Associative property. In addition, subtraction, multiplication of simple natural numbers, these properties, some of the properties will be satisfied. So A union B union C. Okay, first you are considering B union C, then taking union with A. So it is also having same solution as that of A union B union C. Okay, similarly here intersection also. Next, distributive law. So distributive law means we'll in math, in addition and multiplication we make use of A into B plus C, like that. Here instead of into and plus we are using union and intersection. Okay, A union B intersection C is equal to A union B intersection A union C. In the other order, A intersection B union C is equal to A intersection B union A intersection C. Okay. Hope you are noting down these equations. Idempotency property. Here, any set states that A union A is equal to A intersection A is equal to A. Next, identity property. For a set A, universal set X, this property states A union null, null set. Phi indicates null set is equal to A. A intersection X is equal to A. A intersection null will give you null set. A union X will give you X set. Transitive property. So here transitive property has, you are considering three sets A, B, C. The property states that A is subset of B, B is subset of C. Then A is also subset of C. Transitive property. See, these properties of crisp sets or classical sets may be asked for 2 marks. Okay, here the properties of crisp set or classical set will be asked for 2 marks. So preferably you need to learn these properties. Next, involution property. For any set A, this property states A cap is equal to A, and another one is De Morgan's law. It is very important law. It is proving tautologies and contradictions. This law states, see, A bar is indicating your A complement. A intersection B whole complement is equal to A complement union B complement. Similarly, in the other case, okay, A union B complement is equal to A complement intersection B complement. Okay, De Morgan's law and involution property. So with this, the classical set theory, properties and operations on classical set theory are completed. So coming to fuzzy set theory. Okay, fuzzy set theory. What actually is this fuzzy set? Fuzzy rules, membership functions, all these things. Your fuzzification, you have more number of expressions. Suppose you are you want to express today's weather. Suppose you want to express today's weather, the climate, I mean temperature. It seems to be slightly cloudy. Okay, you are expressing in superlative degree. It seems to be slightly cloudy. Okay, if you want to express the expression of a scenery, it is very beautiful. Okay, it is not that attractive, like that we will be expressing. So this fuzzification, how we will be fuzzifying and defuzzifying to solve any particular problem. Fuzzy theory, it was developed in 1968. Let me share you one more thing. Just I'll start with what is fuzzy logic and end up in tomorrow's, day after tomorrow's class I'll continue. Okay, this fuzzy logic was introduced by Jade in 1965. Okay, this he proposed a fuzzy logic concept in some international control conference journal, in paper, one paper publication. He proposed this fuzzy logic. Okay, in 1976, in 1976, in 1976, another scientist named Mamdai proposed pioneering work on linguistic procedure where he was producing fuzzy logic controller. Okay, in the title named Advances in the Linguistic Synthesis of Fuzzy Controllers. He also published a paper in International Journal. Okay, this is indicating volume number, PP is indicating page numbers. Okay, so we are using in our daily life fuzzy logic controllers. Most of you might be having washing machines at your home. Yes or no? Yes, probably most of you are having your washing machines either top loaded or front loaded. So it is designed with the inclusion of a fuzzy controller. Okay, in recent years, many number of applications using this fuzzy logic are increased. So your cameras, camcorders, washing machines, microwave ovens, in all these things, the fuzzy logic components are utilized, as well as in industrial process control, medical instrumentation, and decision support systems. This fuzzy logic controller is useful in systems where there is no mathematical model. If the expect qualitative control expression is in fuzzy sentences, can be applied in controlling the system. Hope you understood where we are using this fuzzy logic and what is meant by fuzzy logic. So unlike your hard computing, soft computing, in the today's real virtual world, where we are making use of hard computing, soft computing. So in the soft computing, you are going for exploiting the imprecision, uncertainty, and partial truth to achieve trackability, robustness, and low cost solution. Okay, so your fuzzy logic, you are making use of this fuzzy logic in the high visibility end of various combination of these methodologies. Okay, the fuzzy logic is all about the relative importance of precision. How important is to exactly write when a rough answer will do. Precision. Do you think that precision is important in this world? Definitely, accurate solution is very important for any particular problem. Okay, here if you are visualizing this picture, precision and significance, which is more prevalent? See, if one of your friend is standing besides you, so 1500 kgs of weight is approaching his head. Okay, so you are instructing, see, precision. In the precision case, you are instructing him that 1500 kgs of mass is approaching your head at a at a speed of 45.3 meters per second, like that. So by the time you are expressing this whole thing, it will be falling on your friend's head. Okay, definitely disaster. But in the soft computing, you are instructing with the smart words, look out, or you will just push him away. That is significance. Hope it is clear for everyone. Okay, so here I'll end up and continue in next class. Please, if you want to have any clarifications, you can clarify. Type in your chat box. I feel like continuing in Friday's class with the fuzzy set theory. What are the operations or properties used in fuzzy set theory, just as your crisp theory or classical theory? Okay, if you have any queries, now you can type in your chat box.